It's Mel from the Defense Coalition. Today what I want to cover is our transition into black powder antique firearms. Today what I'm going to be talking about is the 1849 pocket from Colt, and this is a replica of that from Uberti. All right, so what you're looking at here is a Colt replica, and this was the most popular best-selling Colt period back then, in its time period when it was around. When you're talking about nostalgia and vintage, this right here is the cool factor behind all of the antique pistols of that time. This revolver right here, if you collect these firearms, this is one that you absolutely have to have in your collection. It's chambered in 31 caliber or 32 caliber, pick your poison. And we're gonna get into poison in a minute. This is a beautiful gun, to say the least. Look at that beautiful wood, this brass trigger guard, and this beautiful back strap right here. Uberti did an excellent job replicating this gun. Look at that sight. Sights on these are fairly small. However, on an original Colt, the sight would be much smaller. There you go. Fits right into this wonderful holster. I don't carry this. I just kind of got this holster so I can keep this in pristine condition without keeping it in the box. I also keep the boxes. The reason I don't carry it is today in modern times, this is not a go-to caliber for defense. And it was back then only because, remember we talked about poison earlier? Yeah, well, back then, in the times where they were carrying these, there was no antibiotics out yet, such as penicillin, amoxicillin, you name it. That wasn't there. So if one of these 32 caliber balls hits you coming out of here, you might have lived for about a week, but after that, it was doomsday. And these were very popular. Everybody had these. California, during the gold rush of 49, hence 1849 pocket, and they sold for a lot of money out that way too. But back around these parts in the East, these things went for about, I don't know, maybe like 16 bucks or something like that a piece. Guns were very cheap back then. I knew exactly what I was looking at. I spent a little more than what I want to talk about on this gun. But when I seen it, I had to sit down and talk with myself and say, I gotta have this gun. Now, Sam Colt, when he designed these for concealability. And despite rumors to the contrary about cowboys and open carry wasn't really much of a thing in those days. And you had a lot of towns that had ordinances against open carry. So this was designed for concealability. Before this one was, I think Sam Colt had the Baby Dragoon. This one has these large cutouts to fit percussion caps in there easier. Baby Dragoon, I don't believe, had these cutouts like this. And the Baby Dragoon is basically the same thing as this without the ramrod. This is a ramrod right here. That way, when you load your powder charge and you use your felt wad, if you're using felt wads, you can ram your projectile down into the cylinder. Now, you see that yellow grease right there? That's called bore butter. And that's gonna pretty much substitute your felt wads, basically for lubrication. These things were very popular. They made over 325,000 of these, to be exact, and they sold every last one of them. They outsold all the other Colts, hands down. Now, another reason that these were so popular is because if your wife was going out on the town, going to buy groceries or whatever, or you just wanted to go down to the saloon, shoot the shit and play some cards, or go down to the bar, you got to sneak this right into a pocket. They were made to go right into a pocket. Basically because everyone else had them and they were so easy to get because of the large volume of them, it became a bestseller. It became something everyone had to have. Concealability. When you talk about concealability, it wasn't until much later on where they started taking the full frame pistols like your 1851 Navies. This is nothing but a 51 Navy. This is a 51 Navy's little brother. The 51 Navy is gonna fire 36 caliber. This one, the 1849 pocket, is gonna take the the 32 caliber, but it's a 31 caliber, and Uberti did an excellent job of hiding the specs on this gun. It's actually under this ramrod. 31 caliber, black powder only, Uberti, Italy. These are Italian replicas. Uberti's an Italian company, just like Pieta. And on an original Colt, it'll tell you everything you need to know up here on top of the barrel. Another thing about the Baby Dragoon, which is its predecessor, and I want to talk about why the military didn't use these. See, even the military knew at that time that a 32 caliber would not be as practical as a 36 caliber. That is the caliber that the Navy chose, was 36. The 36 is pretty much a 38. You can see the dimensions right there, 0.375. That's damn close to 380, isn't it? It's nothing but a 38. And a 31 would be nothing but a 32. 32, like I said, it got it done back then, but they just wanted to be sure. So they just went ahead and went with the 1851 Navies and 36 caliber. Back in those times, it was sufficient for self-defense, but that was about it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of servicemen had these, but they weren't issued by the services. And that's what I'm getting at. They were not standard issued. Today's society, even back then, yes, it was a puny round, but still very effective, very deadly. We got to keep in mind what we're dealing with. We're dealing with explosives, black powder, of course, or black powder substitute, primers, and lead ball. Deadly combination. These things are still to be treated with the utmost respect. And they'll tell you that in the manual when you open the box. So that's just in case you don't believe me. I like how Uberti puts the serial numbers here and pretty much nowhere else on it. Now, if you have an original Colt, you're gonna see that serial number plastered all over the gun pretty much. I gotta try to get my hands on one of these because I'm right here in the heart of the Civil War. I could get to Gettysburg or Bull Run all within an hour or so. I don't think it'd be too hard for me to get my hands on original black powder revolvers from that era. The only problem with that is a lot of these guns went west. But anyway, like I said, beautiful piece, wonderful piece of art, wonderful collector's item. Glad to have it. Would I keep it forever and ever? Absolutely. Would I take it out the house for self-defense? Probably not. Until next time, enjoy these black powder adventures. Smell from the Defense Coalition. You guys stay safe out there.